Brah, Brah. Welcome to the broadcast. I hope that you had a good day, or if you're listening to this Thursday morning, you have a great morning, that your day goes well. Because yesterday at 7 a.m. on July 1st, PlayStation dropped two bombshells on Twitter. Back in 2021, Sony wanted to kill the PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita. Well, everyone and their mama threw a fit, and it didn't happen. They reversed it. Unfortunately, in 2027, after nearly 2 decades of supporting the PS3 console generation, we want to let you know we will be closing the PlayStation Store on PS3 as well as PS Vita. PlayStation Store on PS3 will close in select markets starting this year, followed by global closures for the PS3 and PS Vita next year. That means new content purchases will no longer be possible once the PlayStation Store closes on these devices. To ease the transition, players will still be able to download previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. Let me read that again. To download previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. Hmm. So, Mexico, Honduras, and Nicaragua. I said it right, Nicaragua. Yeah. PlayStation Store on PS3 will close next month, August 2026. Additional Latin America, Middle Eastern countries, PlayStation Store on PS3 will close starting late 2026. In all other countries, PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita will close in July 2027. Most of us have one more year to purchase and enjoy the PS3 store on the the PlayStation Store on the PS3 and PS Vita. Some of us have a month, and then some of us have maybe 5 months. And they say, they go on. We know this news may be disappointing to PS3 and PS Vita players who hold a special place in their hearts for this generation of gaming. PS3 and PS Vita represent an important era in PlayStation history, so this will not be an easy decision for us to make. Oh, okay. Sure. It's sad news. But is it the saddest news as the other update they made? Okay, so this post, like I said, 7 a.m. July 1st on X, Twitter, Twix, whatever you want to call it. As of 9:50 p.m., this post has 66.7 million views. Why? Well, if you missed the news, PlayStation announced that physical disc production is ending as of January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. That's right, my friend. The one company that you think or that you thought that might have been not on your side, but PlayStation definitely wanted, you know, collectors to be on the PlayStation. They let these developers and small publishers make physical editions of their games with super low order numbers. And I mean, limited run games, they started their groundswell and they made an entire industry off of publishing these small indie games that you never thought would get releases. I mean, now they publish all kinds of games for AAA companies, everybody, which is awesome for them. Like That was because of Sony, and you thought they had this, they cared about people that played physical, that collected disc and wanted to continue playing on disc and not jump on the digital only train. And then you realize they dropped these reports where I think last quarter, let me see, let me verify this one number. Yeah, here we go. 15% of all PS5 software last quarter was physical copies. Yeah, 85% of the games sold for the PlayStation 5 worldwide were digital. If you've been paying attention lately, in the past week, GTA 6 is releasing on November 19th, digital only. If you pre-order the physical edition, you will get a code in the box, which will drop on November 12th, and you can redeem on your PlayStation Store. I guess it makes sense now. I guess, like, I mean, look, if you're a gamer or if you consume any kind of content, we all know these companies want us to give in to the digital overlords. They want us to be digital only. They make more money off of it. I mean, it's less work on their end. They don't have to have these companies print these copies and working on cover art. It's just so much easier. They can eliminate all that. They can make more money. It's more money in their pocket. They don't have to worry about GameStop or secondhand sales or so. Yeah, they get more of the pie. We get less control and ownership of our digital titles. And I'm not trying to hate on digital. I do buy. I am a collector. I see a stack of my games over here on our entertainment system. But that doesn't mean I don't buy digital games. If there's a good deal, hey, but like, hey, I've been wanting that game. Do I care enough to have it in my collection as a copy on my shelf? Maybe not. But hey, it's $5. Why not? I guess I am part of the problem, but I do love a good deal. But this whole announcement is just, oh man. I like this is not the PlayStation I once knew. I've been around since 95, 96, and it's just things continually change. Nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable. And I have several people on my timeline today saying, "Hey, just get on board, Brah. Just bow down to digital. Get rid of your physical copies. It taking too much space." Nah, Brah, that's not me. That is not me. Like I've talked before, I used to walk or ride my bicycle 2 or 3 miles to my local Kroger just to rent copies of games. And hey, it's awesome. My son and my kids now can just turn the PS5 on and access a bajillion games right off the gate. PlayStation Plus, extra catalog, all the digital games. That is handy. Like my friend, let's see. Hold on a second. I asked some people to leave some comments tonight about how they feel about the situation in hands. Here we go. My friend Shirtless Ben Johnson, you know who you are. He says, I said, hey guys, let me know how you feel with the situation, and I might read during the podcast. So here I am. He says, fantastic. I love everything about it. I haven't bought a disc of any kind since 2015, 11 years ago. I have a Series X that's never had a disc inside of it. Ooh, a Virgin Drive, if you will. Who wants to get up from the couch to change games anyway? This isn't 1983, chumps. Stop crying and just play. Whoo, calm down there, Ben. Here we go. Savage Ogre. He says, honestly, it seems weird to me. It was like a year or two ago, Sony opened a new disc printing factory in South America. I don't wonder if it's just a kind of distraction. They'll reverse the worst thing, and their real goal was to shut down the PS3 Vita store without pushback for it. Man, if that's one way to make that finally happen, that's one hell of a distraction or one hell of a decoy. I mean, this is all over the news, man. I mean, everyone's talking about this. Like I said earlier, the tweet, the OG tweet has what, 55 million views? Is that what I said? Yeah, man, it's wild. That I was like, oh man, I can't wait to record the broadcast again. I think this is going to be a good week of gaming news. Uh, Not entirely true. The rumors started hitting this past weekend about Microsoft closing more studios, and it might impact Arcane Studios, who's making the Marvel's Blade game, which is a bummer because Blade can't seem to catch a break. But he is a Marvel Tokon fighting souls. So hey, Blade, getting some love, brah. But your own title and your own movie, who needs that? Oh, I'm sorry, 67.1 million views. Oh, man, I was off. That was the number earlier. My bad. My bad. And there's the other news I wanted to cover tonight was the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, the initial launch roster. It's been confirmed. Do I want to get to that? Yes. Am I going to? Bruh. I really don't know, man. This is some really shitty news. I'm not a hoarder like I used to be. I mean, I love collecting comic books, trading cards, movies, anime, Pokemon cards, sports cards, all that. Gaming is just, I don't know. I've always had that collecting bug in my body, but definitely since the past 10 years, I'm getting better with it. I try not to collect as much. I've cut back on my comics, trading cards, what I keep and I don't keep. I'm really trying. It's still a struggle. There's still a bit of a hoarder in there. But the one thing I do focus on is my PlayStation collection. I still have my OG copy of Parappa the Rapper downstairs in a pod because our basement flooded back in the end of May, and we're still working through that. Long story. We can talk later about that. But yeah, like I still have PS1 collection that I accumulated from other friends of mine and that I bought myself over the past 30 years at this point. I still have OG copies of PS2 games I bought with my own money once I started making more money and I didn't have to rely on mom and daddy to buy my games anymore. I even have a small collection of PS3 games, even though I sold a bunch of those after some life events and I needed money. PS4 collection, alive and thriving. PS5 collection, looking beautiful. So when Sony dropped this news this morning, just nonchalantly at 7 a.m., my jaw kind of dropped like are you serious? And oh, bro, like I said, they are very much serious. They are drinking the digital Kool-Aid 1000%, but they know the numbers. They have all this information, just like how we have all the information that's in front of us, realizing that Physical sales have been declining for years now, which isn't going to stop me from buying them. I guess we have a year and a half to know, support physical copies, physical media as much as we can. I'm not going to just give up. I'm not just going to be like, oh, okay, Sony, go ahead and do it. They're going to have to comment on this whole situation more than they have in the blog post. Because the blog post just says, I mean, this is all they say 3 paragraphs. Three, this one has 4 sentences. This one has 2.5. This one has 3. I'll just read it from Sid Schumann. As consumer preferences in the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. Here's one little thing that people have noticed and we've noticed. Sony got rid of the digital cards in stores because for a while you could buy certain PS5, PS4 games on the cards. They got rid of that. Well, this right here is saying it seems like they're coming back because he says, following the date of January 2028, new games will be available on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. They got in trouble for that too. Remember the people trying to assume over this whole deal that the PlayStation Store is a monopoly? Yeah. There might be some lawsuits coming soon. It says this is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as a general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical disc. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience for our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. Now they give a link to the PS3 and PS Vita store announcements right below that. See, I honestly thought that Xbox would have made this announcement first before PlayStation. Up until, I don't know, her name's Asha. Up until she took over, it was Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. They did not, Microsoft didn't want you to own a game. They wanted you to subscribe to Game Pass monthly, and then that's, oh yeah, hey, the new Gears is out. Well, you're sitting there playing it, and guess what? Life happens. You got kids, you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, family. Maybe you don't finish it this month. Oh, I'll finish it next month. The subscribe lapse, your subscription continues. Next month, you get a little bit further. You haven't beat it yet. I'll just, I'll play some more and get time. So you play it 2 months down the line. Well, by that time, you paid $80 for a $60 game. Bam. Microsoft they don't care about physical games anymore. Game Pass was their ultimate goal. And unfortunately, due to unrealistic expectation with subscriber numbers, they didn't reach that goal. And Phil Spencer's ultimate dream and idea has fallen apart as they get ready to close several studios and lay off thousands of employees across Microsoft, not just Xbox. The whole Game Pass thing worked, but it didn't work to the level they wanted it to. So they're having to change things drastically, reset Xbox, as they're saying. But, I could see them. If I saw this post, if this post was this morning on Xbox Wire and it said, physical disc production ending in January 2020 for new games released on Xbox consoles, Brah, I would have been like, okay, that's not surprising. Microsoft doesn't care. They don't want you to own the games. They want it to be digital. They don't want to continue to make the disc edition of their games. They're so past that. They're so quote unquote forward thinking with everything. They'd be happy, if they stop making discs tomorrow. They'd be, oh, okay, cool, whatever. No shirt off my back. This morning I got on Twitter and I saw this news that they were ending it a year and a half from now. They, just rip that bandage off. Oh, take the pain, bro. Genuinely flabbergasted. I kind of sat there, like I said a few minutes ago, my jaw just dropped. I was like, what the flying burp? I immediately jumped on Twitter. I think that's what my tweet said, right? Let me see. I'm at Shay. I got a profile. Good Lord. I got to go scroll down so many tweets and reposts that I did today. My buddy Clankstar on Twitter, he spent all day retweeting, reposting, whatever you want to call it, people freaking out in the responses to this. Here's somebody. TCFM Games. He posted an image, end of an era, 1994 through 2028. Physical games timeline. I had all those games, or have them all. FF7, God of War, Uncharted 1, Bloodborne, Spider-Man 2. Yeah. There we go. PlayStation users. Sony, why are you killing physical games? And how will I play my physical PS5 and PS4 games? PlayStation, dot, 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 dot. And it's the Dave Chappelle. Because fuck them. That's why. GIF. Good Lord. How much stuff the shit that I shared today? Here we go. Here we go. So, as soon as I find out about the terrible news, I said, what the flying F are you thinking? Some of the responses I got. 50 Plus Gamer, shout out to 50 Plus Gamer. He said, this makes perfect sense. And he shares some numbers like digital downloads account for roughly 85 to 95% of all video game sales, with physical media making up the remaining 5 to 15%. This creates a market share difference of 70 to 90% in favor of digital distribution. Nintendo leans slightly more towards physical media due to the Switch, which it sells historically hovering around 50-50 or 60-40. And we know how PC is. We Are Spartan 117 says you don't need a disc for a streaming service device. Wandering Dutch. Data shows physical purchases are the small minority, and digital users are the vast majority. Not sure why people didn't expect this outcome. Dunn did it. He said, excuse me, the vast majority of people don't give two shiny shits about physical games. And I said, that's so true. Um, 1H1D says, I mean, y'all ain't buying enough physical copies, which is a lie. I buy plenty each year. I can't buy every game. I got wife, I got kids, I got bills. Steve Attilio, this is what 1H1D shared. It said in 2016, less than 3 of every 10 PS4 game purchases were made digitally. By this year, it was nearly 8 of 10 for PS4 and PS5. This shift likely showed Sony it could do this, drop the cost of making shipping disc, improve software profit margins, maybe de-emphasize a next-gen disk drive. It's the worst timeline, bruh. And like some people were sharing and pointing out today, hey, sure, streaming is the de facto way to watch TV, and it's a pain in the ass to have to find some movies online. You know, like, well, okay, I want to watch Whiplash. Couldn't find it on any streaming service. I had to pay online for it. Like, you mean to tell me with 17 different streaming services, someone doesn't have the rights to that movie? I can't just pop up on one of the different services I have a subscription to right now and watch it, I have to purchase the digital license for it. Well, the thing is, you could go to Walmart right now and it's significantly smaller, but they still have a Blu-ray and DVD section. You can go on Amazon and order a glorious amount of DVDs and Blu-rays. I mean, vinyl records are huge. And those were those were the rave when my parents were kids and young adults. You can still go buy CDs. Why can't games, which cost way more than any of those other two medias? I mean, a new movie Blu-rays anywhere from 20 to $30 to up to 40, depending on which version you get. A record I think's about what $20 these days. A CD, mini vinyl as some people call them, are anywhere from 10 to 20. Like, why can't physical gaming media coexist? Why does Sony have to kill it on PlayStation? What about what about some of these smaller companies, publishers, and like well, limited run games? This is their business. I'm sure they're having quite the interesting conversation regarding their future going forward, because PlayStation collectors are a big part of their business. And if Sony's ditching that in a year and a half, I mean, that's a huge part of their business just floating away, disintegrating to the great beyond. Like here's IM8-bit. They dropped a little note. It says, "We are profoundly disappointed by Sony's decision to suspend physical games production in 2028. Physical games are vital to games preservation, ownership, and consumer choice, values that have guided IM8-bit since our first physical release in 2016. Our commitment to these values remain unchanged. Long live physical media." Hell yeah, bro. I know there's some other ones. Let's see. La di da di da. Here we go. Retroware. In response to shifting trends in corporate practices, Retroware restates its continued promise to release physical games for as long as we're allowed to, and probably longer. In fact, expect more retro cartridge releases from us too, for funsies. Because video game ownership doesn't begin and end with a digital license that can be revoked at any time, nor should it. We believe games are significant achievements of human culture that require preservation, and consumers deserve the right to truly own a physical copy of beloved media that can be used as the owner deems fit. Past or future, it's all physical. Retroware. Oh yeah, baby. That's the spirit right there. Here we go. Indie level studio. We've seen the news about Sony ending physical disc production starting in 2028. It's a big moment for the industry, and we want to share our position clearly. Physical format is still essential. For many of us, games have always been something real. We grew up collecting, trading with friends, and keeping the games we love. The connection cannot be replaced by a download. God, so freaking true. Physical games means ownership, freedom, and choice. The freedom to keep, lend, sell, or gift a game. The freedom to play without depending on servers, licenses, or policy changes. We're proud to be part of a community that values games as culture, history, and something that brings us together. We stand with players, stores, and creators who believe the physical format still matters. We'll keep supporting physical releases and the people who make them possible. As long as there are players who want to hold a game in their hands, we'll be here. Damn, ain't that true, man? There's just something about it, man. Getting that game, opening my mailbox, find that Amazon package, GameStop, whomever, ripping that package open, pulling that game out, turning the plastic open, popping it open, and smelling those plastics. Oh yeah, what a rush! Nothing like it, bro. Nothing like it. Been doing that for 35 years. Yeah, something like that, man. I'll do it to the day they quit making PlayStation games. Hmm. This is not the conversation I thought I would be having on this broadcast. Definitely not. Like, many of us old PlayStation guard have been saying this isn't the same PlayStation. Excuse me. This isn't the same PlayStation we fell in love with all those decades ago. Gaming has changed. It's not, Sean Layden said, hey, back in the day, you could make 10 games with $20 million. And now a AAA game costs you 100 million and you can't take chances. So you have to keep making what people love or re-release it or remaster or remake. The gaming industry's changed drastically. I mean, I'm part of the problem. I mean, as much as I can't stand some of these live services, I can't tell you how many hours that I put into Fortnite, and I've admitted that for years now. My son got me hooked, and my youngest son asked me today, Dad, when we play Fortnite again? Life's been busy. I've been focusing on other games, but hopefully tomorrow we can go explore the new chapter, season, whatever. You know, my 7-year-old doesn't care about physical games. If he can play it on a disc, he don't. He just wants to play the game. He's over here playing Roblox all the time. So the last thing on his mind is, oh, someone's going to stop making physical media. Okay. However, there was one response I was surprised by. My 17-year-old, you know, he's got a iTunes subscription, so it doesn't matter if he has CDs or not, or you know, he got access to my Crunchyroll account and his mom's Disney Plus. So, do I need DVDs? No, no, I can just go online and watch whatever. He doesn't care. But when I told him that he probably won't be able to hold or buy a copy of Persona 6 and add it to his shelf of anime goodies, he was genuinely shocked. And I was kind of surprised by his response. Let me see where you at, son. Little Brah. Y'all know him. If you've been following me for a while now, you know my little Brah. He ain't little Brah no more. He's 6'4". He's taller than me. And I said, I sent him the image of the article in the PlayStation blog. He said, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, da 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 da." And he sent me an image, and it says, "You will own nothing. You will be happy." Who said that? Klaus Schwab World Economic Forum. At that point, I said their post on X has 46 million views. He says they better take it back. I said, "Oops, wait, 48 million now." He said trends in consumer preference maybe because they charge 10 more dollars for the disc than online. Yeah, I mean, he's a youngin. He'll be 18 here in a couple of weeks. I thought he'd be like, "Who cares, Dad?" But maybe he's just over here, showing me some support because when he goes downstairs to the Brah cave and sees this whole shelf of nothing but primarily PlayStation with some Nintendo and a few Xbox games on there. He's been around all this kind of stuff since he was a baby. I remember playing Mon Nation Racers with him when he was 2. How much he enjoyed watching me play that, and Little Big Planet. And he still has, Dad, I remember we used to play all those games together, and that might be part of it. He knows how much it means to me and how much of a collector and how that's been a part of my PlayStation experience up until, well, from now until 2028. I'm still want to keep beating the drum. I still think this is a bad decision. I still think that Sony, I don't want to give them any ideas. Nintendo's now, they're charging less for the digital version and more for physical. And while I'm the single provider for my family, it's on my shoulder every dime. This is a passion, and I like to keep my passion going. If they charge $10 more for a physical edition, I don't want it to happen. I don't want to spend more money. But if it helps keep disc around, then brah, let's go. So if you're listening, if you follow me on Twitter or any other different account, even if you don't care about physical media and you're past that and you're digital only, if you wouldn't mind sharing my tweets or posts or give them a like, just to let Sony know that, hey, we think you're making the wrong choice here. This is, you're pissing off. I mean, look at the post has 67 million views. 67 million. I can't remember the last time a gaming tweet got that many views. 67.9 million. Let's see. What did Rockstar have? Star. All right, let's compare some numbers. Deep as blue as my head, like a shark, baby. Here, when they did the announcement for the pre-orders would begin on this tweet from June 18th, telling everyone that GTA 6 pre-orders would begin June 25th. It has 82.8 million views. And that's almost 2 weeks ago. This tweet from PlayStation already has over a third of the views that this tweet from 2 weeks ago has. I mean, I'm telling you, man, Sony's really screwing up. They need. You can't tell me them continuing to make disc is going to cost them that much freaking money. Ain't no way. Or why won't they? They could change it maybe. Like, what if games became by pre-order? You have to go show up and pre-order the game to ensure the set amount of copies are made. I'd be okay with that. Let's say, Resident Evil Veronica, they get 100,000 pre-orders and they make 100,000 more copies or something like that. I mean, every game would be even more collectible than before. Don't see why they couldn't do something like that, make it by pre-order only, kind of like how limited run game does. Limited run games, you got to pre-order, plus they make an additional amount of copies. I know they're trying to kill the collectors. They're trying to get rid of it, but I mean, I'm not going to stop collecting PlayStation games. My support for the brand is definitely at an all-time low. But I'm going to buy Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls on disc in August. Can't lie. I'm going to hopefully get Halo Campaign Evolved on disc, so I can experience Halo on the PlayStation for the first time. I want to get Assassin's Creed Black Flag resynced, physical edition here in a few days. I'm not just going to, bend the knee to the PlayStation's digital push. I mean, I feel like Pio, shouting the top of his lungs on Twitter. Much support to you, bro. But truly think if enough of us push back, they can make some kind of compromise. I truly hope they will. We'll see. We shall see, bro. Yeah, I trying to figure out what if I want to keep talking. This is still pretty bummalicious, bro. I mean, what's some good gaming news? King of Fighters 15 is getting an update tomorrow. 4 years after it launched in 2022. SNK fans, if you enjoyed some King of Fighters 15, guess what? Everyone's getting retuned. Check it out, maybe. Um, there was some more hints of the PS6 hybrid portable device, which I I think we all assumed that was going to be a digital device. I don't see Sony making the little Vita cartridges anymore or going the Switch 2 route. They hinted about that again with investors. They said, here's something. Here's what they said. Is it Hideki Nishino, the CEO of PlayStation? He said, changes in how players play and their evolving needs. And then they also mentioned provide experience tailored to users' playstyles beyond the living room. Yo, like, come on now. And as you know, I'm more hyped for this new handheld device, which is oh, it's screwed either way. Thanks to PS Plus, I do have a pretty big library of digital games that I could use on there. To get stab at that backlog. But then, heck, you have to buy digital for that. You have to. You have no choice. It's a digital only device. That's what it's more or less going to be, most likely. So I'm almost like contradicting myself, leading to the end of physical media on PlayStation. Ugh. Speaking of the whole digital and physical thing, it wasn't once this news all hit, people were like, well, hey, we've heard that Xbox Helix, the next Xbox device, probably won't have a disk drive either. However, they're working on a the rumor is they're working on a program which could convert your disc to digital, which is something they introduced back in the Xbox One era that was totally shit upon. Because I know y'all remember when Sony made that video with Shuhei and what's his face? Uh, damn, I forgot his name. When Sony made that video with Shuhei exchanging the gift with Adam, whatever, and they had the game. He's like, "How to share on PS4?" And he hands him the disc. Thanks. Yeah, Sony, we didn't forget. I mean, that was a pretty big slap to the face of Xbox. And here you are, 13 years later, announcing that. Oh, by the way, Yeah, try sharing this digital file, brah. Try sharing this digital license with somebody else. Yeah, try it. We'll find you. We'll revoke your license. Yeah, it's a pretty malicious day. I reckon I'll talk some about the Marvel Tokon roster. I'm a Marvel fan, and I have been enjoying Marvel comic books since I was a young child. I mean, my brother was into Marvel, so of course, oh, my brother's so cool. And I love X-Men, love Spider-Man. Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. Spoiler warning. But yeah, they introduced during Evo Las Vegas the final team, the Samurai Outriders, which consists of Blade. Spoiler, you probably heard that a few minutes ago when I was talking about Xbox potentially closing Arcane Studios and canceling the Marvel's Blade game. Good old Bladey boy. Loki. Yeah, yeah. Everyone's favorite god of mischief. Looking pretty badass. We also have Deadpool, Mr. Fourth Wall Breaker himself, who's apparently somehow unlocked the power of fighting games. So he got the Johnny Cage nut punch, and always like you get the sphere and the toasty scorpion sphere, the spear. It's hilarious. He even does some of the poses and everything. Man, brah, Deadpool strikes again. And of course, rounding out the team is Ghost Rider. So let's go over it. Here we go. The initial Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls opening day roster. Captain America, the first Avenger, baby. I really enjoy his suit for this game. It's pretty cool. Water. That's what tonight's show is brought to you by Diet Water. Good stuff. Iron Man. Go figure. I really love this Gundam inspired armor he has for this game. Miss Marvel. Oh, yeah. Spider Man. Star Lord. Gotta have some Guardians of the Galaxy representation. Storm. Like I mentioned a minute ago, Ghost Rider. Danger, which is still crazy. I love the character design they've given her. Magic, who looks really fun. I really love the way they her design for this game is fantastic. Wolverine. Berserker Barrage, Berserker Barrage, Swiss cheese, Swiss cheese. If you get it, you get it. You know. Penny Parker and her big old spider mech. That one was definitely a surprise. A welcome one. What? Hulk. Hey. Hulk smash puny human. Black Panther. There we go. It's of course it's Shuri. That was a surprising addition. Doctor Doom. He's about to have his own movie, okay? Of course Doctor Doom was gonna be in there. And he's an all-time Marvel classic villain. So hell yes. Magneto, another all-time classic Marvel villain. The master of magnetism. And one that I'm personally excited to see is Green Goblin, baby. Oh, hey, he's Steve Bloom also voices. Did I see that right? Dang, Green Goblin, Wolverine. Oh, okay, that's not it. Okay, Green Goblin, Wolverine. That's still pretty cool. Double the paychecks, hopefully, Mr. Bloom. Green Goblin. He is going to be one of the first characters I try out because I really, really want to see what they do with him. He might be one of my favorite villains too. I've always loved his character design. Old Norman Osborn. Carnage. Skipping over Venom, giving us Carnage. Kudos to Arc Systems. Blade, like I mentioned earlier. Loki. The Loki character design, great for this game. Love it. Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool. That's all 20 of them, man. That's your starting roster. We know from promotional material that there's four DLC characters in the first year. Yeah. So if you pre-order the what do they call it, the deluxe edition, right? Deluxe. And hey, July 25th, open beta. Where's the newest trailer? Digital deluxe edition. That's just Barrage. Berserker's Barrage. Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese. There's some dude on Instagram who dresses up as Wolverine. He's got the mask from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and he just runs around. Ah, Berserker Barrage, Tornado Claw, Swiss cheese, Swiss cheese. I love it, man. It's just those pointless content. I can't stop watching. I just sit there sometimes like, dude, this is hilarious. Did I just lose my post? Oh, okay, I see. Okay. The Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls Digital Deluxe Edition. Here we go. Year one characters and stage pass includes set of result screen character poses, 4 characters, and 1 stage post launch. 1 stage. Howard the Duck lobby avatar, Cosmo lobby pet. Set of result screen poses is available instantly. The remainder of the content for the year one character and stage pass is expected to be made available by the end of 2027. All right, all right, all right. Who are the 4 characters? Let me know who you think they might be. Ooh, Ultimate Edition, $99. Oh, look, I just need the standard edition. I don't need to get all fancy, bruh. Let me decide if I want those 4 characters or not. So yeah, as someone who's been playing Marvel games since Nintendo, and as someone who is an avid fan of Marvel vs. Capcom, and who was genuinely shocked when they discovered that Arc System Works was working with PlayStation to make a new Marvel fighting game, I'm hyped for this game. I'm ready for it. And like I just mentioned a minute ago, oh, open beta codes. No, I need the open beta date. Yeah, can you hear me typing? Here we go, bruh. I'm a bluebird. I'm a bluebird. I'm a bluebird. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we go. Arc System Works has confirmed the open beta will run from July 24th to July 26th. Get yourself like 3 days to get some hands on Marvel Tokon, bruh. And not long after that, August 6th, the game launches for PS5 and PC. So get a taste of it. Get a little suckle of that nipple and be like, ooh, daddy, I like that Marvel Tokon taste. Let me drop $59.99 to buy it physically. So I can open that case and just sniff it, wear my Wolverine mask and my Spider-Roo underwear. Yeah, you just watch me. So yeah, that's kind of it for today, man. I think it's almost 11 o'clock and the bra would like to go to sleep. And I'll probably have some nightmare where Sony comes into my house and they, Brah, show us your games. I'll be like, no, Sony, why? We're going to burn them all. They start beating me and they threaten to hurt my wife and my kids. So they drag me downstairs and get all my games out and start smashing them with hammers. And then they get flamethrowers, start burning all the games and melting them. And it just a total nightmare. It's going to happen. You just watch. I done spoken into reality. I'm going to have some weird nightmare tonight about Sony destroying my games. Well, it's happening, man. I'm telling you, we can't let this happen. We got to fight back. Stand up for what's right. Consumer rights, baby. And as always, if you enjoyed the show or enjoyed listening to me ramble the past 55 minutes, then follow, subscribe, like, share, tell your mom she might enjoy it. Review the podcast on your favorite podcasting. Review the BRAHcast on your favorite podcasting service. That would be awesome. Tell a friend. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think, man. Is Sony royally screwing up or they mega royally screwing up? Let me know. The choice is yours. And as always, get on, bruh. Get on, bruh. Get on, bruh.